Start a website, Cashflow Ryan.
With a picture of Mike in his McDonald's outfit.
Cashflow Terminal.
With a picture of Mike in his McDonald's outfit.
Oh, really?
Order now.
Cashflow Terminal.
All right, headlines. Is this a headline?
Technically,
No.
What's the problem with it? Same question Mike asked earlier?
No, you asked me.
Who cares?
and everybody does it.
Everybody does it, probably because that's the first thing that they learn when they go to a seminar.
Dang it, I gotta peel the things off my truck.
What's that?
We buy houses.
There's two we buy houses sign.
Ryan, you do know the story about my brother and his competitor who put up all the We Buy Houses signs all over town? And it annoyed my brother, so he had some R's made up, peel and stick R's, and so he put them over the U's. So his competitor said, "We buy horses," any condition, fast cash.
That's all.
Nice.
Is he still in business? Casey?
It wasn't Casey, but I don't know if Casey's still in business.
He puts all those signs up too.
I haven't seen anybody signs up in a long time.
Never neither.
So, I'm gonna tell you about the day that Aaron and I met Richard Branson. Very cool day.
Seriously?
Seems like-
Necker Island.
Is that the guy, flies?
Virgin. Yeah. That guy sued me, man.
Ah.
I hate to top your story, but I'm in direct litigation with Richard Branson.
Oh, I am not, so.
Because I bought the domain name Virgin Investments.
Yeah.
And his company came and they went through a international court of law and took it from me.
Wow.
Oh.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
So in other words, he has more money than you did and you lost.
He did. He did.
Does he have his arm around you guys?
He does.
Yeah, good old Dick Branson. Yeah, great.
Or it's a good. That's my Napoleon dynamite.
He would have no idea, but his attorneys were all on me.
So one day, Aaron and I were standing out in front of a hotel in Chicago, waiting for a cab. And we're standing in the lobby there, and we looked out, and I'm like, "Hey, isn't that Richard Branson?" He was getting into a car. I was like, "Let's go talk to him." So Aaron and I start walking over there, and as we're walking over there, this guy cuts us off and gets in front of Branson, and he's got a notepad in his hand. And he walks up and he's like, "Dear Mr. Branson, I think that you should hire me, and here are the reasons why." Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So he got the hotel security came and started escorting this guy away, and they just kind of shoot him away. And I'm like, "This poor guy, let's go help him out, Aaron." So Aaron and I start walking over there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm leaving. And I'm like, "No, we're not here to kick you out. We're here to help you. We're the marketing guys." And I said, show me what you were saying to him. Show you. So it shows me his thing. I'm like, "This is terrible." And here's what I said to him, because this was the main thing that was missing out of his what he was trying to say to Branson. I looked at what he was doing, and I told him, "You need a headline that walks up to your prospect, slaps him in the face, grabs him by the shirt, and says, 'You're going to listen to me for the next 5 minutes.'"
And that's how I got my face punched in.
The guy was so appreciative, thanked us up and down, and then I woke up.
The moral of the story is Ryan has dreams about me.
And Richard Branson.
Chicago.
I dream about other
Scary.
people.
My story's true.
Sorry about that. True story about the dream.
Oh.
Yeah, I came into work. He's like, "I had this dream last night."
You
and then he
did?
posts that on the wall, and I have to look at that every time. He's like, "He was dreaming about me, man."
What was I need?
It's a good story.
Good point to it. Does your headline do that? Does your headline walk up to somebody, slap them in the face, grab them by the shirt, and say, "You're going to listen to me for the next 5 minutes"? I just like this one. I just slap you a high five to your face. So, back to the We Buy Houses. Does that do that? Does that slap you in the face? Does it grab you by the shirt? Does it make you want to listen to me for the next 5 minutes?
No.
And most headlines don't. Most marketing sucks, from what I see. We look at other people's stuff. I had a family member in foreclosure. I said, "Please save me everything you get in the mail." All crap. Most of us were realtors, surprisingly not investors, and this was back in, it was like in '07, I mean, when things were, people were still buying aggressively.
Does anybody in here have family members who own rental houses? No, really? I was gonna say, if you do, you should tell them if they ever get a marketing piece to save it, give it to you. But look at what, like I gave you the piece that was put on my door from an agent. You could turn that into a good marketing piece for yourself. Just look at that stuff, save it.
So We Buy Houses doesn't do it. So let's look at some headline formulas. I'm not going to give you specifics, but I will give you some ideas to work off of. And I did not invent these, I stole them from Dan Kennedy. How to sell your house in 30 minutes or less. Didn't we come up with that one earlier today? I think it's a good headline. I think we're going to test it.
48 hours.
48 hours, for example.
If I can't buy in 48, I'll do it in 49.
Doesn't exist.
I'll give you that extra hour free.
Who else wants? These are classic headline formulas that are, to the copywriting industry, but let's make a real estate application out of them. So who else wants? Who else wants to sell their house quickly? Who else wants, a big pile of cash for their rental property? Would that get somebody's attention? More so than We Buy Houses? Probably. They didn't think I could blank, but I did. Didn't think I could sell my house in 48 hours or less, but I did. Didn't think I could get top dollar for my house in a declining market, but I did, because Tim bought it from me on terms. Are you is sort of confrontational. You can be a little controversial with this one. Are you embarrassed by your junky rental property? You might get some angry calls by that, but you might get some people who say, yes, I am embarrassed by my junky rental property. I haven't seen it in 10 years. I don't drive over there. The tenant doesn't call me.
Why don't you put an ad in the newspaper that says, we buy hoarder houses?
We buy 4 houses?
Hoarders do. We buy horse houses. We buy hoarder houses.
Oh, hoarder houses.
So are you confrontational? What else can we do? Are you tired of your tenants?
Are you ready to sell?
Are you ready to sell?
Do you hate your tenants? Are you scared of your tenants? That's a good one.
Did your tenants
Are
slap you in
you
the face?
afraid of your tenants?
Are you afraid of your tenants?
Warning. Warning always gets people's attention. Warning, you're losing equity every day in a declining market. Sell now before it's too late. Discover How. Discover How is sort of what I'm looking for. Oh, there's 2 books I wanted to recommend, by the way, before you say that. Mike was talking about having a thesaurus. There's a book called Words That Sell, and a book called Phrases That Sell. And they'll give you just a topic, and they'll give you like 50 words that you can use to describe differently the topic. Very cool. Very cool books. I use
If
them all
you
the
get
time.
it, make sure you got like 2 hours of spare time to kill, because I get wrapped up in those books in the office and I can't put them down. They're just insane, all the awesome ideas in it.
Yeah.
Phrases that sell and words that sell?
Yep.
That's
Really
the
good
book, name of the book?
Yeah, there's 2 books. One's Words That Sell, one's Phrases That Sell. I don't know who wrote them, but they're relatively new. You can get them on Amazon.
I'd say, Ryan, in my swipe file, I collected a lot of direct marketing pieces, non-real estate related too. I've inquired about lots of business opportunities over the years, so I'm on everybody and their uncle's mailing list. But that Discover How is a very popular one, to where I've written a lot of headlines and never used them, but one of the ones that I did actually use was Pomona Man Discovers How To, and that was...
That's what it is. And the word discover in that's what I was trying to remember. In NLP, put your mind into an answer-seeking mode.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for an answer now. I'm going to discover this, and it sort of grabs the brain for a second.
What if you paired it up with discover how to sell your unwanted house in 30 minutes or less?
Right.
Pretty specific, right? That'd be a good headline.
Even more specific. Discover how to sell your unwanted rental property in 30 minutes or less. Now who are we talking to? Not homeowners.
Landlords.
Landlords, right? Be specific. Were you gonna say something?
Me? Nothing important.
Important news for homeowners. important news for people who have recently tried to sell their house via standard sale by listing with an agent and it didn't work out. Important news for, you gotta speak specifically to who you're mailing to. Forget that We Buy Houses stuff. The biggest problem facing blank today. Biggest problem facing landlords today. Boy, you could go a lot of directions with that one. You know, sucky California landlord-tenant law. The biggest problem facing sellers today, the biggest problem facing homeowners today. A lot of things you could do in real estate or in our business to fill in the blanks with that one.
Are you gonna get into list segmentation?
Get into what?
Segmenting your list. If not, then it doesn't seem like you're not sure. So maybe you're getting calls coming in and you might have an absentee homeowner list that is not segmented, right? It's just a big list of absentee homeowners. But as you get calls, you start to realize not everybody who calls you, maybe 1 out of 25 calls sells. Well, you can start segmenting those 25 into special campaigns.
Oh, okay, you mean to do a follow-up? Yes.
Yeah,
I am.
So, not all 24 people, so if you're buying 1 out of 25 houses, those 24 have a variety of different reasons, and they're generally gonna fall into about 5, probably, reasons why they're not gonna sell to you, and it's not always about price, it could be whatever, so now you start peeling them off. Well, I'm just gonna, hold on to it for a while until the price goes up. Boom, they're in the dreamers, segment. I'm gonna hold on to it and let my grandkids have it when it passes away. They're in the, the unrealistic,
Wishful thinking.
yeah, wishful thinking. This is the how to ruin your family segment, right? So you can start segmenting your list out into specific follow-up campaigns. And now if somebody says, well, I'm gonna hold on till the market goes back up, I wouldn't mail to them every month, would you? I mean, they have no intent of something, maybe every 6 months or something, one touch them once a year.
I'm going to go into campaign structure a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
that would definitely fall into there. That's getting into specifics though, or real specifics, because right now we have a general follow-up campaign, and I am working on something like that where, so if somebody calls, they'll move from the campaign that we're mailing them on into a follow-up campaign. Now we've spoken to them, they've raised their hand and said, yes, I'm interested, but we didn't buy the house for some reason on that day. They go on a more aggressive campaign. But what Aaron is saying is that in putting them on that follow-up campaign, we really should be being more specific in talking to one of their 5 reasons of why they're selling now, and have 5 different letters, 5 different series of letters for follow-up to that person's specific situation. You guys got all the headlines? Ready to go? So here's the picture that I always try to keep in mind who you're writing to when I sit down to write a sales letter. Mr. Al Bundy. Al just got home. He had a long day at the shoe store. He hates his life. He's in denial.
Is that life or life?
Both.
Yes.
He's in denial that he has a problem. My job is to get him off the couch now. And the only way to do that is with a compelling offer. This is what's missing also in a lot of the marketing that we see is compelling offer. Why should I do business with you? Why should I get my fat ass off the couch right now when I don't want to and pick up the phone and call you and talk to you about this rental property that I don't think I have a problem with?
It makes me think about those, billboards for like work boot warehouses or something like that, and it's just a picture of a very, very attractive woman, nothing to do with work clothes or anything like that, but,
Well, it's like the Carl's Jr. commercials now.
I mean,
Is that what somebody said?
Just
They crossed the line into porn on
Yeah.
TV, so I've seen them.
Yeah, there's this one clip, they just made a new one where this one chick just in she's in a drive-in movie. And
Yeah.
damn.
But it's got you talking about
Yeah,
it.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Next time you go for
Absolutely.
fast food, you might be
Yeah.
inclined to I need some Carl's Jr. right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will not get you that chick, actually. It's the
well,
exact
that's the thing. You
opposite.
go up to the drive-thru, you look, oh damn,
that's a compelling offer.
Well, you're hoping you go to Carl's Jr., you're going to see that girl somewhere, just
Yeah.
by chance,
Mhm.
right across the table.
That ain't gonna happen there.
I
Probably
know.
not.
Beer commercials is another one.
Oh, yeah.
When we used to watch TV, I used to ask my wife when they would come on, so if I drink this beer, girls will like me?
Yeah.
Always, 5 hot chicks around one guy drinking a beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not marketing, that's branding, and that's not what we're doing.
Mhm.
Huge difference.
That's lying.
It's lying. But here's the interesting thing though.
Still
But
watch
here's
the
interesting
commercial.
thing.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
People want to believe that,
Oh, yeah.
right? They want to believe that it's that easy. Or
I would
that's-
say they do believe. I don't say they want, they do believe. People believe it.
Well, if you really sat down and asked somebody, do you believe that if you drink this beer, 5 hot chicks are gonna come and surround you at the club? No, I don't believe that. But subconsciously, that is what
Sure.
people want.
Sounds-
People do believe, people want to believe that there is one diet pill that will solve all their problems.
Yep.
Right? So,
They do.
speak to that.
They did.
Speak to the fact that people
Gives you hope.
want easy answers, people don't wanna work, people don't wanna think.
I think on the surface they'd say no, but subconsciously, no, I think they do believe that.
Yes.
That's why people get caught up in that herd mentality.
Yep.
When you see a new wrist, like Swatch came out, 5 decades ago. And everybody had to have a Swatch because I'm in the in crowd, I got the Swatch, I'm cool, you'll like me because I have this.
Yep.
I think they do, subconsciously, they do buy into that.
That's a bit of a dated reference. How about an iPhone?
I don't know, all right, yeah, and that's a
Well-
perfect example, because my wife has an iPhone, and she says, well, I want it because I want to be cool. I'm like, in
I
front of who?
had 3 just last week.
In front of who?
People are in line 2 hours before that one day, because they've got to have it. Because the day before, the 2 wasn't good enough.
Right. So can you, knowing these inherent flaws in human psychology, can you use these to your advantage when you're writing to people, when you're speaking to people?
Yep.
You don't have to lie.
No.
You don't have to stretch the truth.
Push the button a little bit.
But make them believe that you are the only solution on the planet for them. Like the diet pill.
And I
You're
wear
the only one
Swatch.
that's gonna work. Aaron does that, I hear him on the phone all the time. When people mention that they have other offers, when he's not telling them what they can go do with their other offer, it's, what's he gonna say?
He's the only solution.
Only solution, right. So without even being disparaging to other investors, when the homeowner or the seller that he's talking to says that they have another offer, Aaron may place a little seed of doubt that guy's probably not gonna close.
Well, what I tell them is like, well, why would you even consider another offer when I'm here on the phone right now and I have the money? I have the money, and I do that a lot. I say, yeah, I've heard that all the time, but that guy never closes.
Right.
And I don't even know who it is. Oh, that investor never closes. But we close. You want to list testimonials? You want to talk to my escrow company? And of course, if escrow has the deal, obviously we're closing, right? So, talk to my escrow company. We close all our deals.
Yep.
Speak benefits, not features. This was a tough one for me for a long time to really wrap my head around. Some examples that I came up with. I don't know why it was so difficult for me. I always think coming from a software background, this is what my software does. What I was never able to translate that into was this is how it benefits the person who's going to be using it. So, feature is I pay cash. It's not a benefit. It's a feature. Cash in your hands. That's a benefit, right? Because you can go do something with that cash. Remember yesterday we were talking about painting visuals, using visual language? I want them to visualize a big pile of cash in their hand.
Cash in your hands faster.
And we might even use pictures to do that, but a lot of times we're trying to use words to paint pictures. So do that with visual language. Another feature, I buy as is. That's not a benefit. What's the benefit to the seller of you buying as is? I don't have to do the work.
You don't have to do anything.
I don't have to spend the money. I don't have to deal with all that nonsense. I don't have to deal with the contractor screwing me and charging me $9,000 for my new bathroom, which I think one of my family members just paid. No agents. That's a feature, not a benefit. What's the benefit? Save thousands in commissions. We're gonna take it anyway, but at least you're not gonna have to see on your HUD sales commission. We'll take it with tenants. That's a feature, not a benefit. The benefit to the seller is you don't have to deal with evictions.
Or you don't have to have the uncomfortable conversation You lost your tenant, you sold the house.
Right, you can still be the good guy. We've had that. I don't understand that as a motivation, and it's always the landlords who are friends with their tenants. And that is, we've had that on several occasions where they didn't wanna have to kick the tenant out, so they would rather sell to us instead and save face, because they thought they were friends with their tenants. So, let's use that, right? You can still be the good guy with your tenants. You don't have to evict them, you don't have to go to court. So, speaking benefits, not features. You guys think of any more examples of that? What are some features that people you see in other people's marketing all the time?
Closing quickly.
Perfect.
Closing quickly.
Pay closing costs. It's a benefit.
Let me stick on this for a minute. What's the benefit to the seller of closing quickly?
The benefit is they can make that change in their life.
Get rid of the problem?
That's right.
Get your money faster?
Get to their goal sooner.
Yep, go have fun with their money.
Well, with your money, right.
Or maybe they are, you have a balloon payment, or the bank is taking over or something. They have to, they don't have that much time. A week.
Deadline, yes.
Yeah, NOD, whatever.
Yeah.
No more worries.
Yeah. Always when you, the solution for me in understanding the difference between features and benefits, what's the next step after the feature? Where is this feature leading me? And the answer to that question should be the benefit.
Seems like the benefits are more emotional.
Yes.
Features are sort of like a solid thing, whereas the benefit is some sort of emotional attachment to.
Intangible.
Yeah.
More so.
It's a more of a feeling of something.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Sure.
Yeah, I like that. Go after the emotional side. Like
There's a book-
Disneyland's the feature, being on Magic,
Yeah,
what
benefits
Magic
are
Mountain is
emotional.
benefit, right?
Features are the.
You're on the ride, you're having a great time.
Whatever.
There's a pretty decent book out there that I read. It's called,
It's welcome to use it.
I think it's called Motivational Marketing, and it was all about speaking to people's emotions through words and getting them to take action using emotional triggers. Pretty interesting. I don't remember who it was by. It was blue.
Oh.
Emphasis through cosmetics. Not those kind of cosmetics. Bold.
That's just bad. Can you get through this one quickly?
Getting a little uncomfortable there, Robert? Like,
Is
man,
that a
I
lady?
saw last weekend. Handwritten. We talked about handwritten fonts. They are getting better and better. I like Mike's idea of the randomizer one. You could really do some damage with that one. If it really tweaked it enough, or every fourth.
Yeah, there's four of each, and so you get a random of it.
Yeah, I like that. Doing the handwriting is pretty labor intensive and expensive. I've done it, not personally, but I've paid people to do it. It takes a while to get them out, and it's a lot of work, and I figure at some point I probably would have gotten sued for carpal tunnel as well, so. We do
Story.
use, what's that?
True story.
Yeah. So we do use the handwritten fonts quite a bit, actually. I really like them. There's a company, Coffee Doodles is one that sells one. They sell theirs on a subscription, but they've got some convincing handwritten fonts, and V letter is the other one. Has some good ones. Mike?
My neighbor Mark brought over, you printed it off a website, and you actually use your own handwriting.
That's V letter.
You write small letters, big letters, and then every time you type, it's now actually in your own handwriting.
Yep. You send them in a sample, they scan it, they convert it to a font, and when you type on your keyboard,
It's your writing.
it's your handwriting. I thought that was
How
cool.
do you-
What was the name of the place?
V letter.
V as in Victor, flyer. Or
We'll get
no,
to this
V
one
letter,
later.
I'm sorry. What's that?
It's disgusting, man.
That's
Find that. It's disgusting.
That's a man.
I Googled cosmetics and this is what I found.
That is a man.
That's a man.
You Googled cosmetics, and that's what came up?
Yes.
Aaron, make your eyebrow like that this week.
I thought about it.
Underlining, again, making something standing out in the body. Full always for a headline, and subheads. If you've got a long sales letter, you want to break up your paragraphs with subheads. It keeps the readership path moving. If I did nothing, if I didn't read any of the body of your of your long sales letter, but I read the headline and I read all the sublines, would I still get the point? It's to keep them hooked, it's to keep them interested throughout their reading of the sales letter. And it's also called the double readership path. So, like I said, if they read nothing else other than your headline and subheadlines, would they still get the message? And the body just kind of fills in the details of all of those. Color, very useful. Gets a little pricey. I wouldn't stray too far from red or blue. If you're gonna do any printing in color, red gets lots of emphasis. Graphics tied to a theme. So don't put a picture of a house on your sales letter. You guys enjoying the picture back there? Or what's
I'm
going
just
on?
kind of getting a perspective here.
I made a comment to him, I said, I thought what happened in Vegas stayed in
Can you
Vegas.
slightly smile and open your eyes a little bit?
So use of graphics when done appropriately. I'll show you our example of that.
Oh, there's multiple now. Oh, dang.
Here's one of ours. So graphics tied to a theme. Dealing with a house you don't want can be ugly. This is Sam, the winner of the world's ugliest dog contest.
I think he died.
He
Just
died.
the other day.
Yeah.
Really?
Why do you get his tongue to stick
mirror.
out, close his mouth?
This particular breed, their teeth fall out, and so the tongue doesn't have anything to keep it in.
Chinese, what's it called?
No. Ugly dog.
So it's not just a graphic for the purpose of having a graphic. I think corporate logos are a complete waste of time. But if you've got a graphic tied to a logo, it's a little more engaging, gives them something to look at. Look at the overall feel of the letter. We've got a very good handwritten font on there. I don't remember which one it is, but real short and to the point. This is one of our follow-up letters. We don't do long sales copy. I don't send anything out that's longer than a page when dealing with a seller.
Read that bottom line on there. How slick is that? If your house is not for sale, please let us know. Right?
Get 'em on the phone.
Call up and tell you it's not for sale. I'll buy it anyways.
I've seen Aaron turn people around more than once on the phone. It kind of blows me away sometimes. So this is one of our follow-up letters. Somebody that's called and we didn't get them on the first go around. Now they start getting this. Hi, this is Aaron. We recently spoke about buying your property at. I'm specific, right? We leave off the state and zip code, as was mentioned earlier. Writing to see if it's still for sale or not. If your other options haven't worked out yet, we get that a lot. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to fix it up and sell it myself.
We're for the North Lake project.
Oh, I'm going to list it with a realtor. Well, if your other, yeah.
I hear that so many times, and we'll put them follow up for a month. I don't think I've ever seen somebody list it. I don't think I've ever listed the house. They was, oh, I'm gonna list it.
My neighbor's gonna buy it.
Yeah, all right. We check back in a month. Hey, I see that you still are on title.
So Aaron, in the meantime, is making follow-up calls, but they're also getting mail. We're hitting them twice. And in the follow-up, we really step it up once they raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested in selling.
And I've had them call and say, I got your letter again. I have no idea what they're talking about, because it just goes out like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So if your other options haven't worked out, we're still interested in buying your property. If you'd like to talk again about how we might buy your property, then give us a call. Call to action, right? Tell me what to do. I'm writing to Al Bundy. We don't have much, it's my opinion that as time goes on, people are getting dumber and dumber and more attention,
Challenged.
Yeah, attention challenge, yeah.
Yep.
I've got a real brief window of opportunity to get this read. I'm writing to Al Bundy. He's not really too interested in reading this. He may have read it because he likes dogs. And that may have kept him hooked for the 59 seconds I need him to spend on this letter. Preferably within the next week. I gave him a timeline. I gave him a command. We talked about commands earlier. Call to action. Thanks, and wishing you all and your family the best. Aaron Mazzarrillo. Again, the phone number. And like Aaron said, if your house is not for sale, please let me know. All we want him to do is call, right? We're not trying to buy the house with the letter. We're not even trying to make him an offer with the letter. We're not trying to convince them of how great we are and we're going to make them such a sweet deal. Just want them to call. So if the only reason for their call is to tell us that their house is not for sale because their deadbeat grandkid is still living in there and not paying rent, they call. It gives Aaron another 2 minutes on the phone with them to build some more rapport. So that when they
follow up.
This is a follow-up letter, yeah. So that when they do get tired of the grandkid, Aaron's going to be the one that comes to mind. You guys done with this picture now?
Yes.
Like a turtle. Like a thumb.
I have a feeling that thing's on a leash for some reason. too.
Yeah, there's some little guys in there. I can picture that. think Daddy discussed it, Aaron. He's a.
She's on a big wheel.
Okay.
Oh, still again?
So,
Damn.
personalization,
What's his name?
we mail merge everything, and we do not send anything out that does not at least reference the property and the seller. Get their name right. I'm commonly mistaken for Brian, probably because I mumble and I don't talk loud. I'm okay with that, but sometimes I get bothered by it.
I get called Eric a lot.
Eric,
I don't care.
right? Get their name right. Use it as you would when you're speaking to them in person. I would not address a letter to Dear Mike Cantu, because I would not walk up to Mike and say, "Hi, Mike Cantu." Or I wouldn't say, Mike Cantu, are you interested in selling today? That's not how people talk. Mike was talking earlier about how he sits down with his yellow pad and writes stuff out as he would speak. The next step further in that would be to get a voice recorder and record yourself either actually having a conversation with a particular seller or a pretend conversation with the seller and transcribe that word for word.
When I go through and pick out the stuff as I'm cleaning up the list, and we go to mail, we informalize the name. If there's a trust after it, anything to do with family, drop all of that. If it's James, we'll address it to Jim, but we try and make it, because a lot of these people realize that anytime they get the formal address, it's a mail piece because that's how they're on title to their house. So we will drop the middle initials, shrink the name down, and try and make it look personal.
Then how about the envelope? Do you use the full name James or do you use Jim?
Jim, we're gonna go Jim, drop all middle. Now, if it's an easy one to convert like that, Robert, we're still gonna send to Robert, not Bob. Not all Roberts go by Bob. Most James go by Jim. Always drop the middle initial, and a lot of times I tell them their family trust. I'm amazed at the trust stuff that gets sent to me. Emmett Street Trust. Really?
And
I would
then
think they would
the
go.
letter comes out, Dear Emmett Street Trust.
Uh-huh.
Don't do that.
And then the one that I really like is, we're interested in your property at P.O. Box 8582. And I always call those back and say, I can't sell it, I really don't own it. It's a cozy little 2-bedroom, but I am willing to sublet it. But I've had lots of solicitations to buy my P.O. Box.
So get it right, you just look dumb if you don't. Reference their specific property, the one that you're interested in buying. Don't say, I'm interested in buying your property. It's, I'm interested in buying your property at. When you do your follow-ups, same thing. This is what I'm after. And another tip, so we get, Mike owns a number of properties. Mike will only be in our system one time. Our system automatically scrubs out duplicate mailing addresses. And we'll only use one property addresses. So if Mike owns 20 properties, he's only going to be in our system one time and reference a specific property that showed up in our search. If I import another list and Mike's mailing address comes up again, it's not going to put 2 Mikes in there. It's just going to keep mailing the one Mike.
So the way you can do that is if you have an Excel spreadsheet, you just sort by name or by mailing address, and you just got to go. That's how I used to do it, is just go line by line and look for doubles, and then delete out the doubles.
Saves us a lot of money. I don't want to mail Mike 20 times. He's probably going to get a little annoyed. So,
Or amused.
Or amused. Scrub out your duplication, save yourself a lot of money. However, if I pull a list and I find out that Mike has 20 properties that I might be interested in, why did I put Mike on a special campaign rather than just my less specific, we're interested in your property campaign? We have a multi-property owner campaign. I saw that you own a number of rental properties in the area. We recently purchased a package of properties from an owner just like you. If you're interested in selling all or part of your portfolio, see, I'm speaking differently to him because I know he owns multiple rental properties. I think ours is 3. If you show up on our list and you own 3 or more, you get put on a separate campaign.
Ryan, have you noticed sometimes you get duplicates but the owners are different?
Yes.
What are you guys gonna do to?
The system does it automatically. It does it on mailing address. If we didn't have that, I would still probably only address it to whoever came up first.
Okay.
Because they obviously live there. I don't want 10 letters showing up in one mailbox.
Yeah.
Right? I want just, you know, if somebody lives there, I want you to get one letter and I'll hit you again in a few months. I probably wouldn't mail both of those people. However, you also will find multiple owners at different addresses, like in a probate situation.
Yeah, what I found was, the mail address was the same, but then the properties that they owned were different for like the absentee, the actual property I was looking for. So their mail address is the same, but then they're different names.
The only time I've seen that is when you have a, like a mailbox, et cetera, or a UPS store, and they drop off the suite number. I see that. So they're all at, you know, like 5500 Main Street,
We just know people.
different owners. They dropped off the unit number, and I looked it up on like Google Maps or something, and I see, oh, that's a UPS store. I usually just kill all of those because I know they're not gonna get them.
Yeah.
But could it be related, because it's that same situation, but they were like next door neighbors where the rental properties were, but they were at that same address, but different names? Could it be brothers living at parents' address?
So they live next door?
The rental properties are next door, they're one digit off. The mailing address is the same, but it's under different names.
I've seen that in typos, on the list.
Okay.
Where they show up as absentee because their address got entered one digit off. That I'm not too sure about. Well, I should say, our system isn't sophisticated enough to do that automatically. It would pick it up as a separate address. And for the, you know, 39 cents or whatever it is you're gonna spend, it's probably not gonna kill you to mail it to both of them. All right, I get this question often: what if property is held in trust? Contrary to what I would have thought without testing, so the way that we get our list, it's you know, the so-and-so family trust. We kill all the ones that are trust and we switch it to property owner as not suppressed response. And we send the letters to dear property owner. I don't know why it works. I don't know why it doesn't hurt response, but it just
You do
does.
send it to property owner?
If we can't get the first name because of the way the list comes, and it's, you know, the so-and-so family trust or something,
Yeah.
and we don't have a trustee name, or we can't chop off the trustee easily,
Okay.
we send it to property owner, it still works.
What about just sending it like to the Johnson family?
That's what I use.
You know,
Family, Harrison family,
Yeah.
Johnson family.
Yeah, I did that. I mean, I don't know, I mean, I didn't get any results really, so I couldn't tell you what the exact problem was.
Well,
But-
let's look at the two.
But I did try that, because that was my question, I was gonna ask, that technical question. You know, when you have, you know, the combobulation trust, you know, you don't wanna write combobulation, you know, then, or, you know, whatever, some random word there, you know, where it doesn't make sense at all, it's not a person's name, or, you know, if it's the 123 Main Street Trust.
Right, in that case, I would send it to property owner.
Just property owner seems to.
It's not her response like I would have thought it would.
Or sometimes the trust is in the dead person's name.
Mhm.
So just property owner, because you don't want to send it to the dead person.
Well, I actually get really
They won't
excited when I
call
get
it, yeah.
mail back that says deceased. Because then now there's a further opportunity for research and digging into those. But if I had a difference between the Smith family and property owner, I would want to see the Smith family because at least it's a little bit more personal than property owner.
Okay, I've done this.
And I've done that on a merge as well. Call to action, missing in a lot of marketing. What do you want me to do? You need to tell me. Think about who you're writing to. I'm Al Bundy. I'm sitting on the couch, got my hand in the pants. Do you want me to call you? Do you want me to go to your website? Do you want me to send you an email? Do you want me to send you a fax? Mike's idea of a self-mailer with the 3 check boxes, I like that idea as well. I wouldn't give too many choices. I'm kind of with Aaron on that if you give people too many choices, they get confused. We do give them 2. Our 800 number and our website goes on everything that we send out. And we do give them that option. But I wouldn't give them too many. Like, you know, you can call me, you can email me, you can go to my website, you can come knock on my door, you can fax me. I would only give them a couple options on that. Here's one that's not on here that I didn't think of. Do you want me to go to your website? I don't know how many domains we own now, but it's probably around 50. So when we go to, because again, we want to be specific in who we're speaking to, we have rentalpropertybuyer.com. We have inheritedhouse.com, probatepropertyhelp.com. I forgot what the other ones are that we have. Uglyhousehelp.com, so for mailing to, you know, old junky houses. And we will use a specific domain depending on who we're mailing to. It doesn't say we buy houses in SoCal.com, which I also, too general. We have very specific, they all go to the same site. They're all forwarded to the same site, but it's.
Did you say you had 50 websites?
No,
I think so.
Domain.
Domain.
That's the name of.
You might only have one site, but you have 50 domains.
For buying, yeah, they all go to the same,
Okay,
virtually the same site.
I have to think that through.
But they have, so they're, you know, different places all pointing to the same site, but I want them to think, this is more so, this is for me.
Well, I've had people say, I checked you out on the website, I saw some of the testimony. I had recently a woman called and said, well, I saw some of the other people who bought, there's some audio things or something that people have.
There's the Betty video. There's the Betty video.
Yeah, Betty.
Betty was awesome. So, and people will do that too. They'll go check out your website and not call you, or and then pick up the phone and call you. And rather than filling it out on the website, they just want to make sure you're there, you're legit. Mike?
I've noticed that a lot of people seem to check me out before they call too. Google my name, and quite often, somewhere during the conversation, will ask you still skateboard. I think they've done some homework.
Yeah.
My tenants do that.
So, call to action, again, be specific, tell me what you want me to do. How do you want me to get in touch with you? What's the next step if what you've said so far has sounded appealing to me? Don't leave them confused.
And you said don't leave them too many options?
I think the more options you give people, the more confused they get, and a confused mind says no. So we do phone number, we do our 800 number, and a domain name. I don't put fax, I don't put email. On follow-up offers, or on some of the follow-up letters, I've been wanting to test a self-mailer. Like, we made them an offer, they didn't take it, we've been mailing them for 6 months. Let's do a self-mailer where, like Mike said, just tell me what you want. Or maybe we haven't been able to get back in touch with them and have them, an easy way for them to respond. You know, self-addressed postcard, here's your 3 options, or just fill in the blank, here's what I want for my property, kind of thing. Make it easy for them, but don't give them too many choices. But I would do that by itself, not in addition to phone number, website, all this other stuff. So don't leave them confused, tell them what to do. How to start, speaking of Robert Collier, best advice I ever heard, enter the conversation already going on in your prospect's mind. And I'm going to give you some real specific questions to think about when you are crafting your sales letter. Again, stolen from Mr. Dan Kennedy. Back to the psychographics. What's keeping them up at night? Think about who you're writing to, who you're going to try to contact, who you're going to try to buy houses from. What's keeping them up at night? What do they secretly long for most? Notice I said secretly. There's the public declaration of, I want to be skinny, but you know what? I really don't want to go to the gym. I hate the gym. So what do I really want? I want a big bag of Twinkies. What do they secretly long for most? What do they fear? What?
The Twinkies come in boxes.
Where you shop. What do they need? What do they want? Is what they want and what they need the same thing? Almost never. guy who weighs 500 pounds really needs a treadmill, but he probably wants a pizza. So,
Pizza.
what are you gonna speak to him about? What he needs or what he wants? Who are they mad at? I like this one. I like getting in there and digging up a little bit of pain when we're writing to people. I lost something there. Some examples of who people are mad at: agents, banks, government, the economy, the market, all these big, anonymous outside forces that they have no control over.
Their lender,
They're lenders.
their tenant.
Tenants, yes, thank you. Who are they mad at? It's never me, it's not my problem, right? Don't put the blame on them. Do you need help? No, I don't need help, I don't have a problem, right? I'm in denial. Who are they mad at? Blame it on everybody but them. And get them over onto your side. What to say? Speaking benefits, not features, we went over that. Paint a picture. I've been harping on that the last 2 days. Do it with words or do it with graphics if necessary, but you really want to do it in words. An example of that.
Money
You're
in your
fine.
bank.
Okay,
Money in
here's
your
one.
bank.
Here's one. And don't answer verbally. What color car do you drive? Colors in your head, right? Or don't think of elephants. What do you think of? What picture is in your mind? Elephants. So you can paint a
I
picture.
thought you
with
said
words.
Elvis.
Did you say Elvis?
Don't think of Elvis. See, now everybody sees Elvis in their head.
I
You
see
see the
Chinese
sideburns,
Elvis.
right? You see the pompadour, you see the sideburns, jet black hair, white jumpsuit,
Sequence.
sequins.
So if you had a white jumpsuit on, you'd almost be there.
Big Jesus.
Try to paint a picture of, here's what you want to paint a picture of. Either the pain that you're trying to solve, or the place that you're trying to take them to by getting rid of their problem. The cruise, spending more time with the kids rather than rehabbing the house, particularly the grandkids, that type of deal. Where is it that you want to take them? When all of this is said and done, remember the step beyond the step beyond the feature, beyond the benefit. What are they going to do with all that money? B. Fortunato says people don't want money. They want what they can do with the money. So try to paint that picture for them. You can move them toward pleasure. You can move them away from pain. People are more inclined to move away from pain than they are toward pleasure, believe it or not.
Tony Robbins.
Really?
It's Tony Robbins.
No. I heard it somewhere. I read it in a book. But it's true.
There's no new fundamentals.
Right.
That's right.
Sure you didn't invent it.
Probably Jim Rohn.
Oh, here's my thing. Who are they mad at? Align yourself with them against a common enemy. Market, banks, agents, tenants. Those are pretty common, pretty easy ones to speak to. The bad guys. The ones who caused all the problems that you didn't sign up for, but now you're a part of.